The New York Times just published the responses to an informal survey of epidemiologists. And it seems that most, even with the vaccine, would never recommend that we go back to our old lives ever again. Now, the answers range from masks for the next few years to we'll never go back to our pre-pandemic freedoms. Now, remember, this is what they're saying after we'll have spent hundreds of billions of dollars on vaccines, lost trillions in wealth, lost years off our children's development and education, but still not going back to normal? So what do you think is going on here? Has everything become too political? Is this all about achieving the globalist goal of a great reset of our world economy? The effort whose proponents, by the way, use Biden's Build Back Better motto to push their idea of forced wealth equalization. Now, Americans who care about their freedoms and our independence, they better start asking questions. And by the way, don't let the experts wave you off by saying, this is what the science says. Because I bet most of them either don't know or don't care about what the U.S. Constitution says. And that's the angle. All right, joining me now is Dr. Scott Atlas, former COVID advisor for the Trump administration and Hoover Institution senior fellow. Dr. Atlas, now, as many of us were predicting, this pandemic is being used as an excuse to never go back to the new norm, never go back to the old normal, to stay in a new normal, even with the vaccine. Now, we didn't read all of those responses in the New York Times article from today, but one after the other were indicating either the epidemiologists were just petrified or that they had no real intention of ever going back to what we considered normal life. What do Americans take from this?
Well, hi, Laura. Thanks for having me. I mean, I would first say that, epidemiologists are not supposed to be in charge of public policy. The policies are supposed to be determined by our leaders that we elect. Epidemiologists have a view, and again, as I've said many times, if your view is to stop all COVID cases at all costs, that's not what a public policy person does. What a public policy person does is supposed to do is take that stuff into account and also take into account the impact of the policies themselves. At this point in time, we really need people who understand the whole policy impact, and that means the harms of the virus and also the harms of locking down, restricting businesses, restricting individual, confining people to their homes, restricting churches. All these things have a massive toll. We know this by now. At this point, we should see that there's triple the incidence of depressive symptoms in the United States. We've said before, 25% of people that are 18 to 24 have thought about killing themselves because of the lockdowns. So we have to say, yes, the science matters, and we have to actually not just say the science matters, we have to know the science matters. And there is no evidence, by the way, that somehow restaurants are uniquely the big problem of spread of cases. That's just irrational. That's not the science.
Yeah.
Second, I was just going to say the second part is, what's the goal of the policy? The goal of the policy cannot be to stop the cases at all costs. And then the third big category really is, what's the role of government here? The role of government in a free society seems to me to be to educate us, to help us make our decisions, and then the people in a free society, with the information, make a decision.
Well, Dr. Fauci was asked about a new Biden policy idea. Watch.
President-elect Joe Biden said in an interview yesterday on his inauguration, he's going to ask Americans to wear a mask for 100 days.
He's saying, hey, folks, trust me, everybody for 100 days. Now, it might be that after that, we still are going to need it, but he just wants it, everybody for a commitment for 100 days. And I discussed that with him, and I told him I thought that was a good idea.
Well, Dr. Atlas, Los Angeles mandated masks back in April. They're now on the second wave, more restrictive lockdown. Germany, European countries, there was a lot of mask wearing and a lot of social distancing and long lockdowns. And when they opened back up, the virus was still there. So what's going on here with Fauci and company?
Well, I don't want to impugn anyone's motives, but I can say this, that mask mandates have been in place 80 90% of people wear masks in Tokyo. Look at the figures. The cases explode through that. LA County, Miami-Dade County, Hawaii, the Philippines, the UK, France, all over the world, Germany. People have been wearing masks. People wear them. The cases come through. Mask mandates, okay, I mean, it's just become, at some point, you have to really look at the facts, the empirical results of the policy.
Well,
And,
Dr.
you know,
Atlas,
I
hold
don't-
on. 100 days. When I hear all these people saying the science says, if I hear that, the science says, first of all, science is a process. It doesn't stop on the day that Joe Biden, declares himself president or is certified as president. Okay. The science is a process. What is there science behind 100 days? What's that science?
Well, the short answer is no. I mean, I don't know how to say articulate it a little clearer than that. People keep saying it's about the science, and then they act contrary to the science. I mean, I think that the country really needs to figure out this, allow the free exchange of ideas, by the way, without fear of intimidation or rebuke, or we're never going to arrive at the science. Added to that equation, by the way, is a massive amount of fear that has been instilled into people that really has changed really even rational thinking at some point.
Now, LA Mayor, speaking of LA, Eric Garcetti, he's in line, Dr. Atlas, for a Biden cabinet slot, perhaps. So he has essentially told everyone, put your life on hold. Watch.
My message couldn't be simpler. It's time to hunker down. It's time to cancel everything. And if it isn't essential, don't do it. Don't meet up with others outside your household. Don't host a gathering. Don't attend a gathering.
Is this sound policy?
I don't know how to describe what that is, but we can look at what's happening in the country and see that that doesn't make sense. We look at the cases that have come up in the colder parts like the Midwest, the upper Midwest. Everything is coming down now. The COVID-like illnesses to the emergency room nationally are coming down now in most of these states. And the states that are warmer are getting their winter kind of upper respiratory infection cases. This has nothing to do with hunkering down. We have to do everything we can, like everybody keeps saying, to protect high-risk people. We have the vaccine coming. As we said originally, the timelines, they were correct. We're going to have vaccines this month, within weeks, within days, really, for high-risk people. It's not about just putting life on hold and canceling. I don't know what the end game is for people that keep insisting we must stop living. What is the end game here?
Well, Dr. Atlas, I just talked to a friend of mine whose mother is in Germany, and she has dementia, and she hasn't been able to see her go back and see her for the entire year, nor has her sister been able to go see her. And her mother's like forgotten, she was developing dementia, forgotten who they are. I mean, there's all sorts of other costs to this. I know you've been talking about it. I've been talking about it. We want everyone to be safe, but there's a cost to isolation of healthy adults, let alone people who are unhealthy. And you don't hear the quote experts talking about it enough. Dr. Atlas, we love seeing you tonight. Thank you so much.